go. Okay. So we are live with my big old face on the screen there. Oh, did it kick you out, Marleah? Hold on, we are having technical difficulties. Hey, y'all. I'm trying to get Marleah on. She got kicked off. Let's see. Maybe I need to send her another invite. Oh, there's Courtney. Hey. Love your hat. What's going on? There you go. Can you hear me now?
Hi.
Hi, I hear you. We're trying to get Marleah back on. She got booted for some reason.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. I can't hear you though, but hold on.
Okay.
Now maybe I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Great.
We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Marleah says, do a dance, sing a song. We all live in a yellow submarine.
Aha!
Yellow submarine.
Yeah.
Yellow submarine. Okay. Is Marleah had to restart her computer or something?
Yes, she had to restart her computer, she said.
Boo.
So am I on this audio? Am I on the
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep, I hear you. I hear you.
Are we on live stream?
We are. We're streaming. We're singing
Hi,
and dancing.
Well,
just
I got
waiting.
my hat on. One of Claudia's hats that she gave me.
Oh my gosh. I love that hat.
I wore it to my Thanksgiving. That's why I'm late. We had a super low risk outdoors. My mom, my sister, my nephew, and my brother-in-law, 5 of us. It was nice.
That sounds lovely.
And it was sunny.
Oh,
We're waiting
Marleah.
on M to get back on. It's a bring what you got to drink. Did you already say you can't drink?
Yeah, I can't hear drink. So I'll tell the story while we're waiting on Marleah. Oh, and let me go ahead and record while I'm thinking about it. That will be good because, you know. All right, now we're recording. So we're kind of mixed matching drinks today because I have green tea because over a week ago, I started running fever. And the week before, I took my cat to the vet and went in. Of course, I always wear my mask and try to avoid places that don't have masks. And so I read up on the vet, and the vet said that they were social distancing and doing all the things, you know, because of Corona. Rona. And so I was like, cool. So I took my cat, who was like being very weird and lethargic, And sorry, Marleah, I'm letting you in to the vet. And of
She's
course,
back.
yay, nobody there was, nobody had a mask on. And I'm like, those vet rooms are like really super small. Anyway, a week later, I start running fever. And so I'm freaking out. So luckily, because I teach at a university, we have a pretty awesome healthcare center that we can go to and get tested for free. So I had the corona test.
15 minutes. It's fun.
Yep.
Up both
15
sides
minutes.
of the nose to the brain.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They went like 10 seconds too long on each side. But it came back negative, and I basically had a sinus infection. So I'm on antibiotics, and that's why I cannot drink tonight. So green tea, I'm going to be stone cold sober, which I honestly think is a first. I don't think I have like, I have
wine tonight.
It looks delicious. Yes. So cheers, ladies.
Made her own cocktail. She made a cocktail of cranberry.
I couldn't find limes, but I did cranberry and club soda and vodka.
Lovely.
Cranberry Thanksgiving. Sorry it took me so long to get in. My computer is an ass. And hopefully it's done. Hopefully it's done doing that.
Is it being a dick dove?
Oh my God.
I had to be reminded what that even was. Like,
So did I. My husband was like listening to the show and walked down the stairs, and it's because there was no context, and I didn't even realize he had the buds in his ears. He just walked down the stairs and stopped and looked at me and goes, "Dick doves."
Oh my God.
And then he played that section of last week's show out loud, and I just about snorted everything that was in my mouth.
Oh, so hi everybody that's watching right now. Sorry for we always kind of planned for the wonky startup. So we give us like 15 minutes to get on and talk to each other before we go live. And then I spend like a really concentrated like 2 to 3 minutes sweating my ass off trying to get everything connected, and of course it never goes right, which is why we give ourselves 15 minutes. And then we're like, hey, join us at 7:15 because we're really going to start the show at 7:30 because shit happens every time.
Yeah, shit always happens.
All right, so you ready to get this show starter going?
Yes, hold on. I'll pull up my script because I haven't memorized the opening to this show yet.
Oh.
After 71 episodes. You only said it for the first few, huh?
We only said it for the first few. Anyway, all right, here we go. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're looking for a clean, sober, professional, academic,
well-researched, historically accurate, generally accurate, serious podcast
on Southern folklore, ghosts, bizarre events, and unique people,
this podcast is not for you.
However, if you've decided you can live with that,
then join us for the Strange South.
A strange South.
Hi, Marleah.
Hi, Patrice. Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
Hi,
Cheers.
everybody.
Thank you for watching and putting up with us.
And happy holiday week. It's Thanksgiving week.
It is Thanksgiving week.
It is the best holiday where gluttony is the only thing expected of us. It's the perfect holiday.
Gluttony and grading, unfortunately, but
Ew, no.
Yeah. Grading.
Ew,
it is kind of.
What? It's kind of.
Stop. Sorry, there's like a land shark trying to attack my hand over here.
Oh, kitten!
Itty bitty kitty's after me.
Kitten.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean.
Oh, we lost you.
We can't hear you.
No, Marleah. What's going on, girl?
I don't know. Oh, the sound. Did the kitten do it? I don't know.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. My computer keeps deciding that it doesn't recognize my microphone.
Oh.
Cat keeps deciding that I should be paying attention to her. And so she unplugged my computer.
Oh God.
And 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 apparently every time anything moves, my computer decides that it doesn't know what a microphone is. I told you it was an asshole.
Man.
I swear. I'm gonna have to buy like 4 laptops this year. It's pissing me off. I'm like, God damn it. Start making things that I can treat however I want and they'll live forever.
That's right. We need to be able to throw our laptop across the room when something
real.
jumps out.
Exactly.
This year, not when.
God.
I mean, this year we have to.
Gonna leave some very bad Amazon reviews.
So you were telling a story. No, weren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Was I telling a story? Oh, good. I think I was saying something about Thanksgiving and vegetarianism. It wasn't really a story though, so we can just pretend like I didn't say it.
It was a statement.
I probably said it before because we'd done Thanksgiving on the show before because this is like episode 72. So I was like, oh my God, everything I say has probably been said before. Y'all are so bored with us probably by now.
I know, it's like I'm becoming my grandmother where I like tell same story over and over and over again. It's like, wait a minute, I said that last time. And I'm gonna say it again today.
Yeah. Because you know what? Fuck you.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was on my annual search for vegetarian Thanksgiving dishes, which I mean, I've always side dishes are always fine with me. Like it's the day of all the best side dishes.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, you don't really have to have vegetarian special stuff. You just don't eat the turkey. Fine, that's fine.
Yeah,
but,
I've never ate the turkey. I ate like all the side dishes. I mean, that's what you're there for, right?
Turkey is it's so good though. Turkey is so good. I think the smell of meat cooking is probably even something that I like more than the taste of meat at this point. But it makes me drool. And I choose not to eat it. That's strength of character. Stubbornness. That's stubbornness.
You're getting popping when you hit the high.
Oh, really?
So you know your volume. Yeah. Check your volumes.
Hold on. I'm going to fuck everything up.
It's probably the settings.
Hold on.
Well, I made
it's really high.
dressing for you again, just so you know.
That should be better. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know what dressing was before Courtney started cooking for me sometimes. I thought stovetop stuffing was the same thing.
No,
it takes days to make dressing.
Mm-hmm.
We probably talked about this last year.
Is this better?
It's a little low now.
It is a little low.
Jesus Christ!
We need a sound person. We need a sound guy.
Oh yeah. By the way, so we're gonna have somebody helping us with sound soon, so we can publicly thank Jen, who is now going to be helping us with sound. She won't be able to help with this kind of bullshit, but the actual what this sounds like when you hear it on your phone / internet radio.
Internet radio.
Is this am I on a level now? Is this good? Okay.
You're okay. We can boost you post show.
You're okay. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Sorry, guys.
It's better. Right. It's easier to boost than to lower.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right. Cool. So anything else? Ready to
probably
get doing?
Hold on. Let's see, okay. Jen. Nope, I got nothing.
Okay.
Patreon.
Okay. So here's the thing with the Patreon. It wasn't a Patreon.
Okay.
It wasn't a patron, but it's okay.
Oh no, it was my friend buying a shirt. She's awesome.
Yes. So I sent a shirt out to Savannah in New Orleans.
Yay, Cahill. Oh,
yes.
Last names. No last names. Sorry.
And that's who it was. I just popped up and I was thinking, ooh, patron, but no. T-shirt, which is patron. T-shirt patron.
Yay.
Fuck. I'm so weird.
It's worse when we're sober.
I'm pretty sober as well. I only have like glass of wine at Thanksgiving lunch. Whatever.
So I'm ready though, because I got my tea and then I got my pot o' tea.
Oh, that's a pretty pot.
Ooh, yeah.
That I'm just going to sit here and refill. And I'll be all cleansed. All right.
How many more days on the medicine?
Tomorrow. It's my last day.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah, so you can drink. Drink tomorrow.
I'll be drinking all week.
Yeah, we're off the rest of the week. That's nice. Or kind of off.
Kind of off, yeah. I still have one class to teach, but we'll talk about that later.
Me too.
Okay.
All right. So, like you said, we are making a few changes for the Strange South, which is really exciting. We are hiring some help. Woohoo, and I use the word hire very loosely because we are contracting some of our friends to help lighten our load, right? And we may pay them in chickens and goats. They just don't know it yet. So I wanted to do like a shout out to Jen, like we already did, for helping us with our putting the sound together, and FKA Kellyanne from Montgomery, shout out to y'all.
Yay,
suckers. We love you. Your chicken's in the mail.
Chicken is on the mail.
All right, so we all have researched, Marleah and I doing this, I mean, first thing, if you're going to Google, is like, okay, we need a story for the Strange South. It's like strange things in the South, right? Yeah. And so we've been doing this for like the better part of 2 years because our 2-year anniversary is coming up.
I know that party seems like not a long time ago when I made those cranberry those white Christmas margaritas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I was so sick.
Man, you were so sick. Marleah was literally laying on the floor, just like stopped up. It was
right.
It was horrible.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No. So, doing research and stuff on strange things in the South, and you type it in, and some of that stuff you can't unsee, right? There's just a lot of things, but there's also like a lot of repetition. There's a lot of quick dead ends. There's a lot of paragraphs out there, like one paragraph of folklore or UFO sightings or local legends or something, but there's nothing to back it up. One of the local legends is in Alabama, and it is Jack Cole Road. And we haven't talked about Jack Cole Road. And a lot of people don't know about Jack Cole Road because I didn't know about Jack Cole Road. But obviously, Jack Cole Road is a thing. And if you don't know where Jack Cole Road is, because again, I didn't know, it's north of Birmingham a little bit. And was it Hayden, Alabama? Was it Blount County? Blount.
Blunt.
Blunt.
It's blunt.
And Marijuana County. But if you Google Jack Cole Road, then you'll be flooded with all these little bizarre paragraph stories surrounding Jack Cole Road. And a lot of them are in the most haunted places in Alabama, scariest places in Alabama, places you do not go in Alabama, hauntings of Alabama, top 5 hauntings of Alabama, strange things in Alabama. I mean, like all the lists that you come across. And again, it's usually like a paragraph or something. So, when you see stuff like that, because Three-Legged Lady Road is one of those things. It's, made it's the scariest road in Alabama, scariest road in Mississippi, sort of thing. And you're wondering if people are perpetuating this, if maybe like the town is perpetuating this in order to get on the map. So my story is going to be obviously the hoaxiest road in Alabama. Prove us wrong.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
So Jack Cole Road is in the small town of Hayden, Alabama, which is in Blount County. Am I saying that? Blount?
Blount.
Mm-hmm.
Blount County? Okay.
Blount County. It's like
there you
where
go.
Aniana is.
Okay. It is just like Three-Legged Lady Road. It's unpaved, it's densely wooded, and it's just off Highway 7. This is private property that we're talking about. So Jack Cole Road is only like a half a mile. I think Three-Legged Lady is maybe like 3 miles, 2 miles, a mile. I don't know.
But it takes
it's long.
like an hour to drive.
It's like an hour to drive. There's some sort of wormhole there, and you lose all sense of time. But it's only half a mile, and supposedly it is responsible for 68 deaths and many odd sightings since the late 1800s.
Okay.
But again, this is all private property. There's houses on it. There's a lot of abandoned houses on it. So let's talk about the hearsay that's in all the top 10 scariest roads in the South kind of deal. So if you live on Jack Cole Road, blunts on the brain. Blunts on the brain. You should see, like, if you've been smoking them, lights and loud, or maybe hear a loud noise. There's also apparently a misshapen Bigfoot, although other accounts have said that the Bigfoot is like half wolf. And so I don't know which half is the wolf and which half is the foot. I don't know. So is it like the wolf foot, like big paw? I don't know. These are just some of the things that are on the internet. I'm just telling you, folks.
I feel like that should be a song. These are the things that we find on the internet.
These are the things that we find on the internet. Okay. So in the early 1900s, mass cholera broke out, and apparently there was a hospital on Jack Cole Road during this time, and that accounts for 60 of the deaths, possible deaths. So there's been like several statements implying that there was a hospital actually on that half a mile of Jack Cole Road, which if you look at is in the middle. It would be like Three-Legged Lady Road. There's a hospital out there. Okay.
Right next to that pickup truck.
God. That's the scaredest I've been. I saw the empty pickup truck. I mean, I knew it was probably hunters, but still, that's scary. All right. Speaking of hunters, later on in the 1900s, hunters, some sources say kids, so maybe they were kid hunters.
What?
Hey, it happens.
People hunting kids or kids hunting
kids?
Yes. People hunting kids. Just like turn the kids loose and they go run.
Like the most dangerous game.
The most
dangerous game.
All right.
So kid hunters, as in the hunters are of kid age.
Okay, gotcha.
So they came across this abandoned cabin in the woods, and inside the cabin was a mummified woman. Apparently, nobody knew that the cabin was there, or that, or who the woman was. So it's like instant Blair Witch Project, like early to mid 1900s. Of course, this is during the cholera period. So they declared the woman a witch and blamed her for the cholera outbreak and promptly burned the cabin.
And all the cholera went away.
And all the cholera magically went away.
But at least she was already dead, right?
Yes, she was already dead. Okay. You can't find, of course, where the cabin was now. And some say that she still haunts the woods, but again, private property. I would not be traipsing through these woods because kid hunters, first and foremost.
I'm still confused. Wait.
I think that probably would
hunting,
account for all the deaths.
The kids are hunting. Children that are hunters. I want to say
rifles.
That. Children that are hunters. Well,
but they're not hunting other children.
No, not yet.
Supposedly.
Not yet.
Okay. Young hunters.
Young hunters that are children.
Yes.
In the late 1960s on Jack Cole Road, a local fruit grower which a local fruit growers like
Muscadines?
what do we
That's
grow?
it.
Apples, pears, maybe?
I mean,
Yeah,
you
apples and
can.
pears, muscadines, scuppidines.
True. Okay. So, or even blueberries. We got blueberries around here a lot.
That's fair.
Blueberries,
Okay.
blackberries.
It just kind of perplexed me because I was like, we're not really known for our fruit.
grower? No, we're not.
Here.
Fruit wine, though. Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
So this local fruit grower was found slaughtered with an axe inside his home on Jack Cole Road. And the
I feel like we focused on the wrong part. the fruit murdered
the fruit murder. And he was slaughtered brutally.
Yet was he a peach grower? What?
No, it's too cold up there for peaches. Can't be.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
That's all right.
Oh,
Serious now, because he was brutally murdered, and this is
yes.
actually true.
This is
Oh
true.
shit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
one.
This isn't just rumor. This is
not
thing.
rumor. We have going from rumor to fact now.
Ooh.
So in the 60s, this person was slaughtered in his house on Jack Cole Road, and it was remembered and still remembered as the most gruesome crime in this small town of Hayden, Alabama. And there is like there's articles on that part of, the murder, and they didn't really know who did it. And this is 1960s Alabama. So of course they framed an African-American man and charged and hung him for the murder, although most of the residents believed he was innocent. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the after show. So 1960s, still kind of low key, nothing's happened on Jack Cole Road, except in 2003, a famous civil rights photographer was found dead in his house on Jack Cole Road, which were like, I swear, Jack Cole Road must be like another dimension. Because this guy, the guy that they found is named Spider Martin. And he was a famous civil rights photographer, best known for his pictures of Bloody Sunday, which was in March 7th, 1965, where John Lewis and about 600 other marchers marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, and faced brutal attacks by oncoming state troopers. And the footage of the violence and like the photos are actually, some of what Spider Martin took and has become known for. And the Georgia Congressman John Lewis said that he, more than any other photographer of our time, Spider Martin used his camera to document the struggle for civil rights and social change in the state of Alabama. And over the course of his career, Spider took more than 2,600 photographs highlighting the civil rights movement at the time. He was threatened, intimidated, beaten on numerous occasions, but never stopped fighting for the cause. And there is actually, I'm going to put the links up, there's actually a really good interview after he died that, they went around and interviewed people who knew him around the area in Alabama, talk about him. And it's actually a nice little snippet to get to know, who he was and how he contributed, and his family talk about him. But he was death by suicide, actually, April 8th, 2003, and they found him in his home. However, weeks leading up to his death, he had been talking to people about hearing things and seeing things out in the woods. So again, Jack Cole Road, another dimension somewhere. And then most recently on Jack Cole Road, on the morning of February 5th, 2015, a 52-year-old woman named Lisa Weaver was last seen sitting on her bed and playing on her iPad at her house there. Her son, Michael Mullins, sent his mother a text around 2:30 that afternoon and was telling her that he was on his way home. And she replied and said, and that was like the last time that he heard or had any contact with her. It wasn't long before Mullins received word that the house was actually on fire.
Ooh.
And the entire house burned down. The remains of 3 family dogs were found, but Lisa Weaver was missing. The family, the fire department felt like she had been moved because they didn't find any remains. Because of the dogs' remains were still there, but they didn't find human remains, which, you know, if you can find dog remains, you would be able to find human remains, right?
Yeah.
She had recently moved in with her ex-husband, but was reportedly on good terms with him, and she had 2 adult sons, and they were living there because she had COPD, which rendered her unable to like live independently. And it said that she couldn't like walk 100 feet without, you know, losing breath. So she couldn't have just got up and walked and wandered off somewhere. And so they had like search parties out checking the woods. It came up empty. She is actually an unsolved case and part of the Charlie Project online, which is a list of cold cases, unsolved murders online. If you want to go look, like they have them organized by states. I don't know who did the Charlie Project, but it's where you can go click your state and see like all the tons of cold cases, which is really crazy. So to this day, nobody knows what happened to her. Nobody knows where her remains are, or if she's alive.
Wow.
So we thought that 68 people, because that's the number that keeps getting thrown around with the
Jack Cole Road.
Thank Jack Cole. I wanted to say Coley. Jack Cole. Yeah, Blunt. So 68. So we have basically 60 people that supposedly died of cholera in the hospital on Jack Cole Road. The mummified witch, the fruit grower, the guy that got blamed for the fruit grower, the famous civil rights photographer, and Lisa Wheeler, which makes 5 people. So we're missing 3 people out of the 68 that we have no idea how they got the number 68. So here is my challenge. And this is why I want to thank Kellyanne for helping with this story, because she came up with this challenge, which I think is fabulous. And I think we're going to start doing this more so. So if you know anything that's happened that's weird, about Jack Coley Road, and you have a story, if you send it to us, we want to like follow up. And since some of this is kind of hearsay, but a lot of this isn't, and it just seems like there's so much bad shit that went down on that road. If you send us a story and we use it on air, we will give you a cup of facts. And it is a cup that Kellyanne helped design, and it's basically a Strange South cup with the crow and the skull, but with a cup of facts like on the back, and it's really cute.
That's awesome.
It has she has on it. She's like, cup of facts, mostly true, probably. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you have any Jack Cole Road stories, we will send you a cup if we use them on air.
So cool.
That is my hoaxiest road in Alabama.
I love
You're
it.
just wrong.
Woo!
Yay!
Couple facts.
Couple facts.
Get the couple facts.
Probably.
Well done. I keep on thinking that I've heard of Hayden, Alabama before. So I'll have to look it up. And
yeah, it's right
Google
north of Birmingham.
But I feel like I've heard it in context of a story. So,
And I'm going to talk more about it. I've got some interesting things that we found out from Facebook that I'll talk about more in the after show.
Cool. Well, anybody need anything? Should I just
I'm
jump
good.
on mine?
Do it.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm fascinated with this Charlie project now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be another one that I look up.
All missing person cases, which are the
So
worst.
it's all missing persons just across the
Unsolved
border.
murders. Yeah.
Is it unsolved murders too? Because I thought it was all
no,
missing
maybe just
persons.
missing persons. Sorry,
A
I
lot of
just
these
made
are
an
presumed.
assumption.
Yeah, I think they're presumed murder because some of them are like they found their purse and they found their car and they find, but they never find that one about the house, the burning house. How weird is that?
I kept on thinking about spontaneous human combustion.
I know, you know,
South
that crossed
Park.
that crossed my mind too. But again, with spontaneous combustion, it leaves a hand or feet, or it leaves something. So, and if it got like that hot, because remember how hot it has to get in order to like just dissolve bones, basically. So I don't know. I have my suspicions. We'll talk about it in the after show.
Oh, okay, good. Because
okay.
that one's really gotten me. That's like, especially that the animals' bones are there and like.
Well, I'll go ahead and do something completely different then.
And now for something completely different. I'm still sober.
So this is a story in 3 parts. The little theme stories rather than just one story, because that's just how it turned out this week. So last weekend, sorry, we're gonna have to silence all these from me.
Jen.
Right. So last weekend, we were celebrating a couple of birthdays. So we went to the in-laws and sat on their porch, did the whole 6 feet mast birthday fun thing. And so we were sitting there, and while people were opening their presents and stuff, this little bee starts to just buzz around everybody, and we weren't eating or anything like that, so it's kind of weird. And he would just like sit here, and then he was one of those that just doesn't leave you alone, that like you turn around and it's in your hair, and then it's in somebody else's hair, and then it's just like staring you down. And so much that it became a topic of conversation. And I'm pretty sure that when I was growing up in Virginia, my mom always called these sweat bees. And it's the way that we talked about anything that was like bee-like, but was probably not going to sting you. And they look like a little bit like yellow jackets, if you're not thinking of the same thing. But that's
right. You go to the park, and there's like a trash can, and it's like a swarm of them, and you sit down at the picnic table, and you're like, God damn it, because they're like,
but
like
they don't like sting you. You know, it's just like they harass you.
They do. They have like their little knives, and they're like poking. They don't ever like. They just like threaten you. Exactly, just like you. Yeah.
So my mother-in-law, who is from Missouri, starts talking about this little thing, and she said she's pretty sure that when she was growing up in the Ozarks, they called them good news bees or news bees. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And so she immediately starts digging through Google on her back porch and everything like that. And so we both ended up searching this up and finding out some folklore about these weird little critters.
Cool.
So one of the sites that I found some information on was the site was called Bug Eric. And so I kept on singing the Eric the Half-a-Bee song from Monty Python for like 3 days. It's Eric the Half-a-Bee. But so this news bees thing, she was right. She probably did grow up calling them news bees, because that's a folklore thing. There are yellow and black news bees. And yellow, so they hover in front of your face because they're supposed to, the noise, you know, they hum too, like they hum and buzz. They have a very like low buzz, and people make the jump that it sounds like humans talking if it's around you, and you know, you think maybe you're hearing somebody far away whispering or something like that. I don't know, that never struck me that way, but that's what they say, because they say that the yellow one is supposed to be giving you news, like that's why it like hovers in front of your face. It's like supposed to be reporting the news to you.
Okay.
And it's only supposed to be reporting good news. Or either that, or it's listening to you so that it can go report news to other people. So I guess they would just call it the gossip bee. Yeah, exactly. And if they land on your finger, it's supposed to be good luck. And this wasn't just an Ozark folk story. The Ozarks in the Appalachia, like they have a lot of really, really similar folk tales. So they share a lot of these. So they'll be like a hair different, but they'll be basically the same thing. So one of these says that the yellow news bee means that you'll receive a letter with good news in it. But there's also a black news bee. And if the black news bee comes, it signifies that you'll receive a letter that has bad news in it. And there are other sites that say that black news bees just warn of imminent death, and that if they fly in, they'll fly in and out again, and they'll go straight for the next cemetery. This is from AppalachianHistory.net. And so that, like, the idea that like they pretend some horrible thing that's going to happen to you. So these things, they're not actually bees at all. This is one of the things I found out, is that they're called flower flies or hover flies, and that's why they don't sting you. They're not bees, they're flies. And they mimic the look of yellow jackets so that people won't fuck with them. But they have 2 wings. All flies have 2 wings. All bees and wasps have 4 wings. So there's like a 2 wings run, or 2 wings fun, 4 wings run. I was like, I don't know if I would call flies fun.
Right. Especially with this sitting there at the...
I know, right?
But fun. They're dirty.
You know, it's a thing to remember. Anyway, 2 wings fun, 4 wings run.
Do you really count the... I mean, I've never seen a bee wing in my life.
That's the thing, is all this time I've looked at them and I never would have known, because they move so fast that you can't really tell how many wings they have. Right. But so hover flies, they are in gardens, and they are the same things that we called sweat bees in Virginia, because they'll collect your sweat. They just don't sting you. So they also eat all your aphids, and there are plants that like evolve specifically to produce hormones that attract these, so that they will eat aphid infestations off the plants. So they're really good for your garden. So don't kill these annoying ass little hover flies, because they're good for you. But that was what got me on my whole creepy crawly critters kind of theme for today, was this conversation. And I know you guys love it when I do these. This is at least my second one of these, but I love bugs. They're so cool. And they have lots of legs, and I looked pictures of them. So while I was looking up this shit about hoverflies from my mother-in-law, I accidentally stumbled on a second really weird bug thing about the South. So you know, Punxsutawney Phil, you know, the groundhog, the Pennsylvania groundhog. That is,
okay.
That's his name.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have known this, but I have a friend who was from Punxsy, because I went to Penn State, and she taught me that it was Punxsutawney Phil. He's the groundhog. And you know, he forecasts the weather, right? Because this is complete bullshit, but that's like what the town is built on. So Banner Elk, North Carolina decided 42 years ago that they wanted to get into this whole like animal weather forecasting business.
I'm telling you, like, get your haunted road,
get yourself some of that,
get your groundhog, or
whatever,
titmouse or whatever.
Titmouse,
dick dove,
dick dove,
dick ferret. So so the South, we actually have our own Punxsutawney Phil, but it's a caterpillar. So we have a weather predicting caterpillar in Banner Elk, North Carolina. So here's the deal. So there's this Appalachian folklore that you can, you know, it's like the kind of thing like the Farmer's Almanac would have. You can tell how hard the winter is going to be by looking at the stripes of a woolly worm caterpillar. And the woolly worm, it's I'm not even going to tell you what the scientific name is, because I'm pretty sure I can't pronounce it correctly. But they're called, I know, right? They're mountain caterpillars. And woolly bears, they call them woolly bears, black-ended bears, banded woolly bears. They turn into tiger moths. And they are actually really cute. I mean, I know most of you probably don't like bugs, but they're actually really cute. These are the caterpillars that you want to pet because they're so fuzzy and they look really, really soft, and they're brown and black. And you then you want to pet them, but then you don't want to pet them because you're pretty sure you read something somewhere about how
I know about the
poisonous.
most poisonous caterpillar ever, and now I'm scared to pick.
They
I
look
used to
like
pick
cow ants too.
I
which are
used to pick up
super-
caterpillars all the time.
I know, I did too. But
And then ever since I read that thing about that caterpillar that basically you pet it and you die.
A lot of them have have venom or toxins or something on the ends of their fur. So if they're fuzzy, you don't want to touch them. But the cool thing about these is they're not toxic. They're actually just snuggly. And that picture that you held up, Courtney, it's a little bit misleading maybe because they're not really red. They're not that red in the middle. They're kind of a rusty brown, but they're still brown. So they don't look like those cow killer ants, those velvet ants that are seriously going to destroy you. But no, they don't sting. They when you pick them up, they roll into a little fuzzy ball and they turn into a little teeny, they're really cute. They turn into a little puff ball. So they've used, so folks in the Appalachian Mountains have used these bands on the worms, like what Courtney just showed this picture of. It's black on both ends and it's brown in the middle, and it's supposed to predict the path of winter. So those bands are made up of 13 different sections of their body. And so if the black sections are really, really big, it means the winter is going to be really hard and it's going to be snowy and really cold. And if the brown section in the middle is bigger, then it means it's going to be a milder winter.
That seems like a way better predictive forecast than let's just say hedgehog looking at his shadow.
We should start our own hedgehog weather predicting event. Yeah, it's still 100% bullshit. I mean, scientific,
but it sounds better. It
does sound better, right?
Count the rings
around this. Yes, around this worm. But so this event has been around as long as I have. It started in 1978. 42. And so Banner Elk was looking for a new event to have as an annual event, and this guy named Jim Morton had been, I don't really understand this part, but had been already doing a publication that included woolly worm forecasts for the winter. And so he was like, hey, why don't we do a festival about this? And so they turned it into a whole big thing. But the problem was there's only, if you compare it to the Groundhog Day thing, there's only one Punxsutawney Phil. There are billions of groundhogs, but you have chosen one.
You have chosen
Simba. You have been chosen.
You have been chosen as the groundhog above all groundhogs. So Punxsy Phil is the groundhog that they base this on. And there are woolly worms everywhere in Banner Elk, North Carolina. And so they're like, well, how do we decide which one has the correct forecast? Because their bands are all different, because we all know that this is completely unscientific bullshit. And so they were like, we've got to come up with a way to decide which woolly worm is going to be the weather predictor for the year. So they decided that the best way to do that is to race them. So they're
caterpillar racing.
Yeah, totally. They set up a series.
Exciting.
This was before the internet, isn't it?
Yes, 1978, man.
Yeah, okay.
It was still television.
Our year.
So they set up a series of 3-foot-long nylon strings that go from down to up, and one worm per string. And every fall, now up to 20,000 people come to this place to watch these worms race up strings. And then they buy local arts and crafts, and they have the whole funnel cakes and all this kind of shit.
Strings hanging down and they're climbing up.
Yes, it looks it kind of looks
I
they're
was picturing
attached.
tight ropes, they were.
No.
No. See who falls off.
No. With a little tiny worm umbrella. No. No,
They
it's a
got
string, and
triangle
it
across
it starts like at eye level, and then it goes all the way up 3 feet above your head. And so, but they have had up to 1,000 people register their worms for these races, and so they do them in 25 worms to a heat, and they race them in heats all day long, and then the winner gets the honor of calling the weather for the winter and $1,000 cash prize.
Oh, wait! Now we should do this.
Yeah, I was going to say for $1,000,
Right?
go
It's
find
I
me
was like, well, no wonder
woolly
people
bully
sign
and
up.
go race
Caterpillar.
it.
And I really wanted to find something that was like the secret to woolly worm training, but I couldn't find it. But I did find a video. I did find a video of the woolly worm races from 2017 that I'll share in the show notes, because if you don't know, we put the notes, we put our links and everything like that, and videos and stuff every episode on the website strangesouth.com.
Lord.
And so I've got a video, and it's like people name their woolly worms ridiculous funny names, and then you're not supposed to touch them. So there's this guy with a bullhorn walking around behind them who's like calling out who's in the lead, like all the way through, and then he's like, please do not touch your worm. So, and you see, like, you just kind of sit there and watch, and for a while it just looks like a whole bunch of people trying to touch their worm, and then all of a sudden you realize there's this little black and brown thing going like, and he's gonna make it, and you're like, yes, go Flash, go. But
Look at Patrice.
So they have this awesome festival in Banner Elk, North Carolina every year. And the website for the festival, there's a quote in it that says, there is no other experience in life that can produce the absurd euphoria that comes from cheering for a worm to climb a tree. It is so
not touching your worm.
Indisputably ridiculous that it is completely liberating. And I'm like, oh, I'm such a fan of these people after reading. So the mascot, they don't have Punxsutawney Phil. They have Merryweather, the woolly worm. And this year, the Worm Festival was unfortunately canceled because of COVID, but hats off to the organizers for canceling a large event of people for COVID. Thank you for doing that for everybody's safety. And
we will definitely try to catch it next time.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm actually kind of excited about
it.
So they do have an online vendor store. So when you go to stuff like this, a lot of, it's always about all the local arts and crafts vendors and where you can get the best funnel cake. But like, the local arts and crafts vendors have probably suffered a lot because of this, because all these events have been canceled, indoors, outdoors, whatever. A lot of this stuff is being canceled. So if you want to go and look at the artists and craftspeople who would have exhibited at this, you can actually go to woollyworm.com, and they have online links and things like that where you can still buy from those people. So go hit that up, and I'll drop that link in our show notes too. But so that was the ridiculous part of my 3-part creepy crawly story, and the creepy part is the spider part. Which I knew nobody wanted me to do. Because I've been sitting on the spider story for like ages, because I knew nobody wanted me to tell it. But then I was like, but look at all these bug things. It's time now.
Oh no, I'm getting wine, but I can hear you when I go.
You go get one. I'm gonna talk about spiders. I like spiders. I don't, but I do, because they're really pretty and I like to take pictures of them. But so we all know we have dangerous spiders in the South. Really, primarily the recluse, probably the brown recluse, though I would think is like effectively the scariest of our southern spiders. But the black widow is the one that we all recognize.
Yes. I've been bitten by a black widow.
Have you really?
I really have. Went to the hospital.
Wait, you at the hospital you got bitten?
I had to go to the hospital because of it. I was doing yard work, and luckily it wasn't like a full-on bite, and it was crawling up my arm, and I swatted it, and my arm just like pain. They fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
Hurt.
So you had to go to the hospital? Did they give you like an anti-venom or something? Or
they did. Well, they watched it. They did like the thing where they marked the place, and they like did the, whatever.
To see where the swelling extended to?
Yeah. And I didn't really, it was pain. It was more painful than swelling. But I didn't get like a full dose, but it still fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew a guy in one of the plays that I worked in years and years ago who had said that he had been bitten by a female black widow, and that they had told him that he would no, I'm not going to tell you this. I just realized I can't tell you this. I have to keep saying it now that I started saying it. This is what makes me socially awkward.
Why can't you tell it?
I don't think it's true. I will preface you
okay.
with this because I haven't found any data to support this, but he did say that at least for a little while after you were bitten by a black widow, you actually exude the pheromone that the black widow spider exudes, and so other spiders will come to you.
Oh, fuck.
But if you have
That's
not been bitten by
terrifying.
another one in all that time, I don't
Right.
think that you still would have any danger from that. And I also, like I said, I also don't know if that's true. That could be just another folktale thing.
But spiders do like to crawl on me. So that is a thing. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
well, you may be able to corroborate some of this story that I have to tell you right now. So there's a special southern link to the Black Widow besides that they just live here. And I haven't found a whole lot of stories about this, but there is original documentation. So it's true. And that story I found is by a writer named Mike Oliver. It was from AL.com, and I will link it in my show notes. So there was a Dr. Alan Walker Blair. He was a Canadian physician. He worked on the faculty of the University of Alabama Medical School in the early 1930s. And at that time, apparently, there was only like anecdotal evidence that black widow spider bite could be deadly or dangerous to humans. But it was just anecdotal. It was just people like, oh my God, like what you're just saying. It's like that thing bit me and it hurt like fuck. But there was no conclusive scientific data because they would have to have test subjects. Right. So this dude is like, the only legal way for me to find out how this works is to do it myself. So this guy at the University of Alabama decides on it's 10:45 a.m. November 12th, 1933. Takes a couple of assistants with him to his lab in Tuscaloosa, along with a black widow spider in a mason jar. And he pulls out the spider with a pair of forceps, and he shoves the tip of his finger into its face, and he forces it to bite him for 10 seconds.
Oh my God, that's a long time.
It's a long time because he's trying to gather data on the venom power of this creature.
So, I would start with like a second.
That was 10.
Seriously, he said 10 seconds. It takes so that time that you were just doing that, it's a long time, right?
Right.
So he basically trapped it there to do that for 10 seconds. He says it felt like a needle prick at first, but with a sharp and increasing burning sensation. And then so he lets it go. I don't know if he kills it or what, but he starts to take notes on what happens to him. And the article includes all these excerpts from his original notes from the experiment.
Oh, cool.
So at 10:45, he gets bitten. At 11:05 a.m., he says there's a dull aching pain in his left armpit, and his whole arm starts to ache and feel kind of numb. 11:07, so what is this? Like, this is 22 minutes later. Slight aching pain over the lateral surface of the whole left side of his chest. And then at 12, aching pains in the muscles of his neck, starting to feel tired. From this stage of his notes, everything is taken by assistants because he can't write anymore. He's 32 years old. He is very healthy. He has just won the faculty tennis tournament. He is like athletic. He is spry, everything. He is not like a child or an old person or an invalid. So at 12:10 a.m., he's got aching like abdominal pains. And at this, so 10 minutes after they start taking notes for him, his assistants have to take him to Veterans Hospital. And for, to be put under the care of a
So he did
doctor.
it at 10:45. So this is an hour and like 20 minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So 12:30, severe aching pain in his lumbar region, abdomen, and chest with a feeling of constriction in his chest. He can't speak right. His speech is jerky. He starts to sound slurred. 12:37, agonizing pains in his back, abdomen, and chest, and his abdomen becomes like rigid, like a board.
God.
12:50, he cannot straighten up. He can't stand up. his legs, he start to have tremors in his legs. He's got an ashy pallor, cold, clammy sweat. And here they put him in a warm bath to ease his pain, and he's got labored breathing at 1:15. So this is all like within a couple hours. 1:15, his lips are tense and contracted. His mouth like it develops this like kind of oval shape because he can't control his muscles. By 4:05, he's starting to get sick to his stomach and vomiting.
Are they treating him at all during this time?
They're treating him some, but only to ease the symptoms.
But this was like also in the 1930s,
this
right?
is in the 1930s, so they probably didn't have many methods to do anything for him.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they even know how to do any kind of anti-venom?
Because the whole point, I mean, part of doing this was to figure out what they would do, right?
Well, except that you're gonna die. Like, where's the
and I'm wondering if he went into this thinking like, okay, I'm a picture of perfect health. This can't be that bad. You know, I can manage this. So 5:25 p.m. a red streak starts extending up the back of his left hand. 7:45 p.m. he starts drinking copiously. He's sweating constantly. His eyes are red. His face is swollen. His abdomen is still rigid like a board. From like how many hours ago did that start? Like 12 something. So he manages to sleep some. The next morning, let's see, he has, on one occasion, the patient stated that he became so upset mentally that he was afraid if firm control was not exercised, he would go insane. So they gave him morphine at 8:15 the next morning. Late that afternoon, 4:10, his tongue is furred. They said his breath was foul. His face is swollen. And then at 8 p.m. the next day, his condition started to improve. He drank lots of orange juice. He sweat all day. So it took 2 full days for his body to work through this spider bite. So it said one of the goals of this guy's experiment was to find out if a person who was bitten once by a black widow would build up immunity when they were subjected to a second bite. So he planned all along to do it twice. And after he experienced the first bite, he said, "I'm really sorry, but I'm not brave enough to do this a second time." He's like, "I just can't." And so his attending doctor said that after treating him, "I do not recall having seen more abject pain manifested in any other medical or surgical condition." So he released all these notes in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 1934, in December 1934, in an article called Spider Poisoning. So I have to do like the obligatory like naturalist end note on this, that you know these guys are generally not interested in people. They're not out to get you. They're not going to hunt you down and bite you. And actually, one study found that in a natural environment, you actually have to pinch them to make them bite you. Like if you poke them multiple times, they'll just run off.
Right. Mine, what happened with me, and my arm's aching now that you talked about that guy. But
I'm so sorry.
I was doing yard work, and I was picking up like large things of pine needles to like, put them in a bag. And I felt something crawling on my arm. So I did my arm like this, and I see the black widow like crawling up my arm. Now I probably could have just like gently just like boop, and it would have been, or like gotten a leaf even, because she wasn't being threatening or anything like that. But I freaked the fuck out because I saw a black widow. So I went pow like that. And in my smushing her when she bit me, and I did her off like that. And yeah, that's what happens. My arm, it didn't, like, I didn't feel her bite or anything, but it started to like hurt and ache and go numb. And that's when I went to the hospital.
Did you bring it with you? Did you bring?
No, because I did like this, and then
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Did they believe you?
No, they didn't believe me.
I knew they didn't. No, I figured
they were
condescending.
Like,
what the hell?
They saw it. Yeah. But anyway, they did treat me for it, but they didn't believe me because I didn't have it on me. Like I was going to fucking
So what
how
did
many
they give
people do? I mean, like, how many people are like, here's the spider that bit me?
Well, I do know people brought snakes. Like they bring the snakes if they kill them.
Yeah, if they kill
well,
them.
you got to kill it first.
Well,
Yeah.
If
but
you kill a
like my
spider,
cousin
there's
got bit
nothing
by.
left.
Right, especially if you freak the fuck out and smush it and then like sling it off of you. So, and I wasn't, like I kept raking afterwards because I thought, okay, that's fine. And then my arms started like aching and hurting, and I was like,
how
fuck.
old were you?
Oh shit, like 35.
Oh wow,
34.
Man,
Well, so they didn't necessarily believe you, but then they were like, "Oh, it might be a spider bite." And
they had to treat me. They gave me like a large dose of antihistamine, and they just
everything he's describing sounds like some kind of anaphylactic.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things. Like they do have really their venom is 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake's venom. But they're tiny, and they almost never bite. And when they do, you only get a little bit of it. So what Patrice got was a little bit. What this guy got was 10 seconds full.
Yeah,
of
that
venom.
was ridiculous. That was stupid.
And if it already hurt that bad from just a regular bite, this guy, that's why this guy was in such pain. It's so there are like 1,900 black widow bites across the country reported every year, and only 14 of them in 2013 was the one that I found the data for. Only 14 of those had any severe symptoms, and nobody died. So
nobody died.
If you're afraid, don't be that afraid. Don't go out and squish them all.
Don't do what I did. Yeah. Just like take a deep breath.
Because they really are very, very non-aggressive, and they will run from you. If they're on you, they will run away. They would rather run away than bite you.
Right.
So just be aware of where they may hang out. They may hang out in yard debris. Like
they're everywhere. They're like in garages or in closets.
They do like garages. They like places that have light. Like your garage is probably the biggest place that they might be. But they don't make pretty webs. They make messy, like jumbled kind of webs. So you can look for those. I've had them in my garage. I've had them in my backyard.
Downstairs. Yeah.
So
around bricks, like you've got like bricks or wood piles,
concrete blocks. They love that stuff. And so your wood pile for your like backyard bonfire, just be aware. But it's like I'm weird about that. I'm like, oh my God, they're super cool, because there's this like article about how like they have this enhanced embodied cognition, that they actually think through their body, through their joints and their legs, instead of just their brains. Like octopuses do this too. Octopuses think through their legs can grab food without sending signals to their brains. Like they have like their body is part of their mind. So it's just super. I can drop that link too if you're weird, if you're like geeked out about spiders like I am. But vibrations.
That is really bizarre.
It's crazy, right?
That is. I've never heard of anything like that. That's awesome.
So so be scared, but don't be too scared, because they're not going to kill you.
But don't freak out like I did.
Don't make them bite you for 10 seconds.
Don't
like
fucking
the crazy ass dude in the University of
Yes.
Alabama did in 1930. So that was my strange, creepy, crawly story.
Do we know if you do get any kind of like a immunity, or?
I do not know. I should look that up, or you guys.
Well, obviously it's not necessarily needed unless you're.
It's funny because what that story that my friend told me, that I was talking to Patrice about before I started saying this, is almost like they give you an anti-immunity. Like if you're, but I don't know if that's true. So I'd have to look it up and see.
Yeah, I meant like though, if you got bit later, if it
would be less severe. Yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking about brown recluses when my dad died. We were cleaning out. It's an old house built in the 1920s, and there was one area in the dining room that had some rot, and we were getting the floor replaced. And my ex-husband was terrified because he was a contractor. He ran into spiders all the time. Everything was a brown recluse all the time. Didn't believe him. He cracked into the floor there to like get it and to replace the boards, and there was like a whole nest of brown recluses, and they really were brown recluses. And it was cold, like it was a part of the house he never really went to. This area he never bothered, and cool, damp, underground. It was scary as hell. It was tons of them. He was like, I'm not touching this. We're calling exterminator now. And we did.
I gotta go spray my house right now. I've got the heebie-jeebies.
I'm sorry, guys.
Thanks a lot.
God.
That's scary stuff.
Spiders fucking love me. I have had so many spiders like crawl over my face when I was asleep. And like where it wakes you up because you feel their legs. I remember just like grabbing the spider and throwing it.
I've never had that happen.
And then it hit the wall because I heard it hit the wall. I swear that has happened like so many times.
A tarantula? That sounds like a tarantula.
It felt like a tarantula, but it wasn't. It was like one of them
like
house spiders.
Oh my god!
No, it was a big spider because it hit the wall and made a noise.
I have never had that happen in my life. I'm so sorry. I can see right now. Patrice is like, touch my face.
I can still feel it.
Jesus, all I can think of that scary stories that tell in the dark story. That's one of Abby's favorite ones, and I'm like, that's not my favorite story.
No, I've had like I don't know. We just like didn't spray for bugs like when I was growing up. But I've had like that, and I remember feelings like you feel like something like you'll have little nerve tingles and stuff on your legs when you're sleeping. Sometimes I always check those out because I've had it when it was not actually a nerve tingle, like, and it was like going down my back. And so I like reached around and it felt like it was going in my underwear. So I reached down the back and I like grabbed it.
God.
Yeah. I came out of my underwear pretty fast.
What is it about you?
I don't know. They love me.
Oh
they
my
love
god.
me.
Well,
terrifying.
Note.
It is terrifying. And I've got the heebie-jeebies like
yeah,
so
I'm sorry.
bad right now.
I'm picturing like everybody watching this going. So you're welcome.
Now. Boo. I'm thinking about spiders.
I can't focus now. To me, spiders.
That's the scariest story of all.
It was the scariest story of all. Oh, good job. Well, thanks everybody for watching us. We appreciate y'all. And we're going to start the after talks now. So at this point, Jen, if you would like to cut off there and do the after talk. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to like signal. Okay.
You know what it would be? A long, uncomfortable pause.
Okay, let's do that.
I can't look at y'all.
That wasn't uncomfortable at all.
I know. It was funny.
Okay. All righty. After show.
After talk.
And
episode 72.
Episode 72. This is for our patrons who get this after talk downloadable on their RSS feed or whatever fancy shit they have.
Right.
Or through patreon.com, which I found out is like a little too gender specific because we were watching the first season of The Crown this past week and Prince Philip said something about being matronized and we're like,
matronized me.
Matronizing. Stop matronizing me. And I'm like, should there be a Matreon? Are you my
that's what I said. A Matreon
so
account.
should it be like a Vatreon?
Yes. Vatreon.
Vatreon.
Oh, I think we need to write a strongly worded letter.
Yes.
Vatreon.
We need some
Vatreon. It's the way of the future.
So if you want to join our Vatreon, it's $3 a month. And
Vatreon.
It's just like less than a Starbucks cup of coffee.
It is.
And now that we have people that we have to pay in chickens, we need some chicken feed.
I was trying to think what I could. I was thinking I could make them cocktails, but FKA is too far away, and Jen doesn't drink.
Poor Jen. Let's have a moment of silence.
Not by choice, but by medical. I know I can make her mocktails, but.
Mm-hmm.
So after talk, so Kellyanne went down the rabbit hole, and this was like the first story that she gave me, And she's basically like, this is all bullshit. She's like, all of these lists are bullshit. I was like, no, really?
For the Cull Road?
The 10 most haunted places in Alabama are bullshit. Really?
Of all of those that we've read, how many do you think, like maybe 10% have panned out to be something?
Oh yeah, like one out of the whole list.
I remember you saying when she started, she was like, crap, this is what y'all do every time you start down something, then it just dead ends.
It's just hard as fuck. You can work all week and find you can find a billion leads and find like nothing worth following. It can be really frustrating.
Or like 100 websites that have like copied and pasted the same thing over and over again.
Same words,
it's so frustrating.
Oh, it is so frustrating. But like the Jack Cole Road does pan out because it does have like some newsworthy things. Because first of all, there was the well, let me just read this. So anyway, she's going down this rabbit hole and she found this Facebook group, and I think it was the Serpents of Bienville, which is actually
they were a podcast.
They're a podcast, but also they may be like a tattoo parlor or something down in Mobile, Alabama, or something. It's
They've
weird.
Had some good things that I've followed too. Serpents of Bienville is good. Yeah.
So they were talking about Jack Cole Road, maybe on their podcast, I don't remember. And she found this, and she's telling me about this guy that had posted on there. And I am just going to read you his post because his family actually owns like most of the land there in Jack Cole Road. So this is Graham. And he says, hi, my great plus grandfather was Dr. Robinson. He was the doctor that built the hospital.
It was really
read about. So there was like there was a hospital there. He started the hospital to use the spring water.
There's like Blunt Springs is right there.
Right. In the area to help heal and rejuvenate patients.
The
hospital is no longer there, and it's been a long time, but all the property on that piece of land belongs to my mother. You can still see where the steps were to the hospital. There's a shape of a heart made by two flat rocks at the old entrance. Problem is, our records say that the hospital had already been destroyed before the cholera breakout in 1919. Not sure about that exact dates. And also 1919, we were Spanish influenza, right? As well as on my mother's side, they owned the property all around Jack Cole Road. Jack Cole Road was a neighbor. Jack Cole was a neighbor of my family there in Blount Springs. And so they named the road after him. They still have a retreat for their family there, the Colbert family. And they've done a lot to keep trespassers away.
And tell stories.
Like tell stories, right? He's gone up to their cabin. He's been going up to a cabin they have there for like 40 years or so. And he's played with family and cousins all throughout those woods. And it's very, very rural. Nothing but a handful of dwellings there. So the cholera outbreak is said to have claimed 60 plus lives, but the records that they have contradict that. So we don't know like where they got 60 from. Let's see. There was a hospital, and I'm sure people died, but it probably was a little exaggerated. There was a woman found in a cabin in the 40s there, I believe. And the Halls murder, which was the guy who was brutally murdered by the axe.
The fruit guy,
was payback for the farmer killing the dog of the suspect.
Oh.
So the guy that was murdered killed a neighbor's dog, and the neighbor came after him and killed him brutally.
Shit.
And let's see. It says it was... the dog was getting into his chickens, and Mr. Hall killed the dog. The suspect came back with an axe and beheaded the dude.
Damn.
And just like brutally, just like he, yeah. It was not good. So, but of course, being the 60s, when did that happen? Like in the 30s or or so with that. Of course, they hung the guy that probably didn't do it. And let's see. Oh, in the 60s, there was the photographer that talked about Spider Martin. And he met that guy several times. And it was death by suicide, he thinks, over a woman.
Is there a cat behind you?
Luna.
Okay, something was moving. It just freaked me out. I'm sorry.
No, Luna's
It's
right
Luna.
there.
Yeah, it's Luna.
Okay.
No, Luna's been in the room the whole time.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, but
well.
she was moving.
Oh,
around
she was
a
moving.
second
Oh,
ago.
okay. I was like, the door open? No, the door's closed. Okay, good.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to distract
There's somebody behind you.
Well, I would never let somebody sneak up on you without saying something.
Aw.
Wait, was that a door creak?
I heard that. I totally heard that.
Oh, that was my chair.
Oh.
I love
Okay.
that pause though, right before you said it was like, yeah, that was my
No. Okay. All right. You're
so
safe.
Spider Martin.
Continue.
Spider Martin killed himself over a woman, but he said it was never mentioned about him talking to anybody about hearing weird things out in the woods or seeing anything weird out in the woods. Said he was just a strange guy. See, this guy also doesn't remember a woman being murdered at the end of the road. Oh, I don't remember a woman murdered at the end of the road.
Again? I don't know who you said was telling this.
Oh, this was just a guy that was posting, like they were posting about Jack Cole Road. He was like, "Oh, my family owns it," and whatnot, and so he was kind of given the
history kind of stuff.
History of it. So I don't remember a woman at the end of the road, but there was a missing woman whose house caught on fire. And that was Lisa. I forgot her last name now.
Weaver.
Weaver, thank you. And but he says he's been in this woods all of his life. He's never seen anything ghostly, creatures, wolf foot or whatever.
Wolf butt.
Big paw.
Big paw.
Sasquatch.
His grandfather stays up there or used to stay up there all the time at night. And it was just a great place to go camping. It was never scary to him. And it's just weird that it just has some weird stories. Like there are like some things attached to that road that have happened. And enough to bring people trespassing to see ghosts or something. But he's like, there's nothing here. And they've like installed security gates and, all that stuff. He's like, it's just an old dirt road that's not even a mile long, and it just looks creepy. And there's some crazy things that's happened here. People have died and stuff, but other than that, that's it. So that's like the 411 on Jack Cole Road.
When I heard that part about the axe, this is the Patreon, and I'm not going to name any names, but it reminded me of a story that I've been wanting to dig into more from my family, actually my in-law family. In the, I think it was the year I graduated high school, or right around that time.
Oh, you told me about this.
One of my family members, again, in-law, like my aunt side of the family, her husband was my blood uncle, but her side of the family, her niece's, her brother-in-law was murdered, and he was murdered on a road like in DeKalb County, like that nobody really goes down. He was in his 60s. He lived with another man who supposedly was an ex-police officer. They were just older and had been divorced, and just kind of roomed together there. And they were both murdered brutally out of the middle, like just in the middle of nowhere for nothing, no robbery. Nobody really knew exactly what was going on. And there was always talk that the guy he lived with was somehow connected to, because I think he was an officer in a larger city, like some kind of organized crime or something. And that maybe he had come there just to get away from that. But it just reminds me of just like out in the middle of nowhere, just a murder of like brutal,
just gruesome.
Yeah. With no answer. I don't know why I pictured it that way, but that's kind of
right.
And I wanted to find out more details. I talked to my cousin about it a few months ago. She gave me a little more detail, but I wouldn't want to tell that story anyway because the parties involved. It was their father, and I know them, and I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
But still, just that idea of like out in this road. It reminds me of a road like that, you know. Just nowhere, DeKalb County.
Right. Yeah.
Not really related to Jack Cole, but the same kind of idea.
Same kind of, yeah. There is a stretch of road because when I was thinking of kid hunters, hunters of children,
hunters,
children that are hunters. You know, there's a time of year in the South, and I don't know what it is because I'm not a child hunter. That you go shoot things, and we know, we know we don't know when children's season is but you do because you hear all the guns.
Like September or whatever.
Yeah, you hear all the guns, so you know it's some sort of season, something somewhere.
Now,
always, and so. I used to live in Meridian, Mississippi, and I would travel up to Starkville, Mississippi when Chad was still going to school, getting his master's, and I was working down in Meridian. And I never really thought about it until I started, going, because there's this really lonely stretch of road, and it's 4-lane, I think, but it's like you could go down this 4-lane and not see a single car. Like you could wait minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes and not see a single car. That's how just kind of rural, nobody travels that way a lot. And that's the way I would go to Starkville. And it was only like an hour and a half. It wasn't a super long trip, but I would always take my dog with me. And I remember, and it kind of skirts. So we have Weyerhaeuser in Mississippi, which is a place that makes paper and toilet paper and stuff. So there's the big forest industry there. And there's a lot of just acres and acres of trees that they have planted, and they'll cut down and they'll replant and stuff. So I was in kind of that area where it's just dense forest and stuff. And I'm just driving along 60 miles an hour, and I hear something like a gun, and my tire blows out. And I didn't really register the two things being connecting. I just thought because I have, just like spiders love me, blowouts love me too. I've had so many flat tires and blowouts and stuff. And so I'm like, fuck. And I don't think I have my phone on me because this was before we had smartphones. This is pre-smartphone days. So I just had my dog. Thank God I had my dog. And so I was sitting there, and I know how to change a tire. That's one of the first things my dad taught me when I got a car. But I'm on the side of the road, and I have a Jeep. And so I'm changing my tire, and there's nobody on the road except this 18-wheeler starts to pass me, and he passes me, and then he slows down and he pulls over on the side of the road. And I'm like, oh, fuck, because I really didn't want anybody stopping, because I was just going to change my tire and go. And so it was this very sweet man, and I stood 20 feet over here with my dog, and he changed my tire for me, and he said a prayer for me, and I was thank you. I don't trust you, but thank you.
I know.
And did that, and I was on my way. But I was, as soon as I went back there, I was thinking, fuck, somebody shot my tire out. Somebody that was either somebody was shooting towards the highway when they were hunting, or I don't know if it was intentional, but anyway.
Probably not, because that happens so often around here.
Yeah, and it gets me freaked out. Yeah, it gets me freaked out thinking, people who do not know any better using guns and shooting at things.
They end up accidentally killing people driving down the road. So that's scary, man. I can't imagine changing a tire out there like that.
No.
But I just realized something.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to give a shout out to that Good Samaritan for
That is a good
letting me
Samaritan.
stand awkwardly like 25 feet away, being hyper like freaked out.
That happened to me when I ran out of gas one time on Interstate 20 right before the 459 interchange in February at night on a Friday at 6 o'clock.
Oh my
That
gosh.
sounds awful.
And I barely got off the side of the road. It wasn't that many years ago, maybe 2015. Freezing, like 20 degrees outside. And I got my car this far off the side of 20. Like I couldn't open my door to get out. And when the 18-wheelers would come by, my car was just blowing.
I hate that feeling.
And my friends weren't far away. I was meeting them at a restaurant off of 459. And I called them to go get, like, I ran out of gas. I can't believe it. In a car that tells you how many miles you have left. and somebody stopped. And I was on the phone with my friend Byron going, somebody stopped. I wish I never want a weapon until that moment. I was like, I wish I had a gun in my car right now, but I'm going to be. Anyway, this guy was so nice. He like pushed my car off where it was further off the road. And I was like, well, my friend's right there. She's coming to get, bringing me gas. He did it for it. Like he helped us. My hands were frozen. We couldn't get anyway.
Yeah, I know.
I felt the same way though. I was like, I'd rather you wouldn't have stopped to help me. I don't want to be murdered.
Right. That's
interstate.
Exactly. I know. And
sad.
And it's so hard. It's so hard because I have been with people because I am not this way. I'm not going to be a female. Obviously, I'm not going to pull off the side of the road to help somebody because no, that's dangerous.
Nope.
But I have been with people before who help people on the side of the roads. That's just the thing that they do. So I know there's people are out there, but I also know that there's a lot of not so nice people. So you cannot trust anybody.
Scary.
It is scary.
But we're both lucky, so we've had good experiences.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
Guess
Marleah.
what?
What?
We should choose our giveaway person.
I wondered.
Oh my God, I totally forgot.
We were going to do it during the main part of the show, but since we're still live. So
everybody's like, would you just fucking just pick a name for the shirt?
Since I was late, I thought I missed it. And I swear I thought about it twice. And I was like, keep your mouth shut. I should know better than to keep my mouth shut.
You know, we don't remember shit. Okay. I'm going to try to share my screen with y'all.
Okay.
And try to do
Careful.
this. Yeah, hold on, give me a second. Let me move some things around.
Someone who's used Zoom for grading. I've shared my grade book.
I've closed all my porn sites down, so we're good. Let's see. Multiple share one at a time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share my desktop. Okay. And share. I hope I can get back. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have all my names here.
Ooh, way to go,
Very
guys.
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots
and
of
now
entries.
yes. And so now I'm going to hold on. Let me do.
Oh, there's so you've got a randomizer or something?
I do. I've got a randomizer and it's going to pick for us.
Oh my.
So here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Pick a name.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where'd it go?
Orange and a Queen gets a shirt.
Orange and a Queen.
Yay! I know her.
Oh, cool name.
Okay, so
Way to go, Orange and a Queen.
let's pick another one because we've got shirts.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Fun times.
Fun times. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Here's another one. Giveaway.
Courtney Neff.
That's not me.
That's not you.
Yeah, other Courtney. Yeah.
So Orange and a
I've
Queen.
seen Courtney posting.
And Courtney Neff, you have a free Crow and Skull Strange South t-shirt.
Yay! I love that t-shirt.
All right. Let's see. Stop share.
Awesome.
Did it stop sharing?
And yes, it did stop sharing.
That was fun. I like that little generator. That's cool.
I know. Isn't that cool?
Is cool.
I wish it didn't have so many ads and stuff around it. But
That's okay.
yeah, so we'll be, if they're not watching, because everybody probably is like, oh my God, they're just not going to do it. We're leaving.
I'm sorry. I could have said something at the beginning.
I mean, I had everything on my screen. It's like I've been staring at it for the past hour or so, 2 hours. It's just me. It's what I get for being sober. What was I going to say? Oh, so we have a lot. And since I'm just talking to I'm talking to the live audience, if you're still there, and our patrons, we have a lot of shirts because we were expecting to do a lot of live shows in 2020.
And then
and then we aren't. So we do have a lot of t-shirts. We have some t-shirts.
Is what I thought you meant.
And yeah. Oh, I hope so. Fingers crossed, right? So I think we should do some more giveaways. I think we should do giveaways every time leading up until Christmas with our t-shirts. And maybe even maybe a coffee cup here or there. And definitely if you write in with your stories.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll get the cup of facts.
Cup of facts.
Yes. But
awesome. I think it's a great idea.
That's all I got.
We did our thing. I'm useless today with after show. So yay, good job, guys. Thank you guys all for being here.
Yes, if you're still here, thank you.
If you're still here.
Appreciate
thank you, patrons.
Yes, thank you, patrons, so much.
Thank you, patrons.
And that's us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Are we saying bye too? Okay. Bye. Good night.